Diablo 4, what did you think about it? Today, we are going to discuss some negatives and some positives from the open beta for Diablo 4. Welcome everyone, my name is Rusty Pilover, Ginger Streamer, professional high-pitch screamer, entertainer extraordinaire. And welcome to this little review video that we're going to be doing for Diablo 4 from both betas. There's some great stuff for Diablo 4, but obviously there are some negatives. So let's cover those first before we get into the good stuff. Number one, day one server issues. As with every single Blizzard game, day one server issues are obviously going to be a problem, and Diablo 4 was no different. Hardly anyone that wasn't on the other side of the globe could get into the game, which means there were wait queues and there were disconnections and there were people raging at their keyboards and throwing it out the window for very good reasons. So hopefully when the game comes out on the 6th of the 6th of 2023, we won't have issues. 2, dungeons felt the same. Now I, like a lot of people, felt that the dungeons really did not have too much diversity. It really felt harkened back to the days of Diablo 3, so I'm hoping Blizzard addresses this to make dungeons feel more unique. Now I understand we've only played Act 1 and that the world is going to be much more diverse, and hopefully dungeons feel a little bit more diverse there, but the dungeons kind of felt the same enemies, same combat mechanics. It really didn't feel too different from Diablo 3, and I put that as a negative as someone who has played quite a bit of Diablo. However, the combat was fun and a lot of the bosses felt difficult. It just felt very much the same, and they do need to work on that. Number 3, OP/underpowered skills. Obviously, I think this is a little bit of a nitpick, but some classes, like the Sorcerer, felt unbelievably OP, and some classes, like the Rogue and the Barbarian, felt a little bit underpowered unless you got certain items that boosted your skills. So hopefully, with any luck, Blizzard will find the balance for these classes, as PvP will be a large part, I believe, of Diablo 4. I find that if classes innately are OP just on their skills, and then you get items that push them over that limit, you are kind of crossing the line of where Diablo 3 was and where the problem was, where it's a one-click button and everything blows up. So I'm hoping that that gets sorted out and that we get a more balanced class spread throughout Diablo 4. But with that being said, there were definitely some overpowered things looking at you, Sorcerer. Number 4, legendary balances. I think Blizzard wanted to show us what legendary items there were in the game. However, I think some of these are definitely going to have to be a little bit tweaked and a little bit balanced. As with the Druid, where your wolves turn into werewolves and then you get plus to summon skills. I believe that's on another item though. But those things are going to have to find some kind of balance. Again, it harkens back to PvP and maybe some level of PvE, as you don't want to just click a button and destroy everything. However, for PvP purposes, especially if there might be a Diablo 4 competitive comp scene, as with everything there is lately, you do want to make sure that you don't make everything too OP for certain classes, and for other classes you're not finding anything good in terms of legendary items. So here's hoping they fix that. Now, enough with the negatives. Let's get into the good stuff of Diablo 4. Number 1, throwback to good old Diablo. What I liked about Diablo 4 is it gave me that feeling of I'm back in Diablo. I've got dark, dreary, not happy environments, and I like that. Everything felt a darker tone. Everything felt like what a Diablo game should be. We got the darkness from Diablo 1, we got the skill tree from Diablo 2 mostly, and some of the combat mechanics from Diablo 3. Really the best parts of all Diablos put into one great Diablo game. I find that Diablo 4 has the potential to honestly maybe be Game of the Year, but we'll have to see. Number 2, fair difficulty. The game feels fair. It feels as if you don't use the dodge mechanic, you are going to die. If you don't dodge certain attacks, you're going to die. It feels as if you miss skill, you're going to die. But it's a fair difficulty. Each mob and each boss, mini boss or world boss, felt fair enough that you could kill them, but if you made a mistake, it's going to cost you. And I like that of this. You should be punished for making mistakes, because if you do that in real life, you're going to die. So I like this. I really do. I find that Diablo 4 is a fair difficulty across the board. Number 3, classes feel unique. With the OP and the underpowered skills aside, every single class has their own unique class mechanic that makes them feel unique. With the barbarian being able to use two-handed weapons and 2 one-handed weapons, the sorceress having the enchant mechanic to have passive skills, the rogue having your imbuements, the necromancer having the Book of the Dead, and then the druid having your spirit boons. Each class felt unique, and the fact that they have their own class quest to go get these mechanics really added to the story element as well as the class element for your character. I like that. What did you think? Number 4, customization on point. Now again, nitpicking here, but the customization for Diablo 4 really felt quite immersive. It looked real fun, and I believe there might be more customization coming for your characters, but it really felt like I could make my class the way I wanted to make it, and the look and feel of it felt very dark, Diablo-like, but also looked really cool. Number 5, combat feels fluid. Now I might have some disagreements here, but I personally felt that the combat felt really fluid. It vibed. There weren't really any issues with the combat that I could see from the time that I played. Maybe you found some issues with the combat, but I really felt that the combat just went through without a hitch. I could differentiate between this particular enemy and that particular enemy, and enemies did feel a little bit samey at one point or another, but there were key differences where some people ran into the butcher. I never ran into the butcher, but I mean, if you ran into the butcher, good luck on that one. And number 6, choices matter to a point. Now when I say this, it still seems that Diablo is picking our stats for us, and I don't like that. I feel like we should be able to pick the stats that we want to for our character. However, the choices in itemization, the choices in skills, the choices in what we want to use for our items was there, and I do like that. I like the fact that if we take legendaries and we only want this particular aspect, we can go break down that legendary, put that aspect on a common or a rare item. I believe it's only common items, but you can help me out on that one, and really customize our character how we want to play it. I like that. I do. Got a few things that we can discuss on the choices part, but it might not be for everybody. Thank you so much for watching. What did you think about Diablo 4? Was it a game that you plan to play? If you played the free weekend, is it a game that you're going to be playing? Or do you feel maybe Diablo 4 is just not the game for you? What did you think about the classes? What did you think about the mechanics? Please tell me in detail in the comments below. I will be replying to every single one of them. And if you did enjoy this video, consider liking and subscribing for more Diablo 4 content. I will be posting 2 new builds this time next weekend, so make sure you check it out. And if you haven't checked out my previous build video, it's right over here. Until then, Sanctuary awaits.